Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys still have energy for this one. I think I will be the last presenter for this afternoon. So I will be presenting to you my Erasmus journey. I am Adrian Keith Arcami. I'm currently the program coordinator of the Mining Engineering Program of Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology in Iligan City. So this is just a brief run through of what my professional journey has been. So I am a graduate of a Bachelor of Science in Mining Engineering in MSU IIT. I'm part of the pioneering batch of our program since it opened in 2013. So I started my academic career when I started teaching in Philippine Science High School in Caraga Region campus in 2018 before I moved to MSU IIT as part of the faculty force of our department in 2019. So in 2020, I was initially admitted in the Erasmus Mundus Masters in Resources Engineering. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened, so we had to wait for a year before we were able to start our program. So that is why in 2021, we started our journey for our master's program in University de Liège in Belgium, wherein the degree that we got in Liège was the Master's in Geological and Mining Engineering, and after that one, we moved to France in University de Lorraine, where our degree was then Master in Science in the Environment. And then I spent my last year, my 10 months in Sweden, in the Swedish School of Mines or the Luleå Technology University. So I master in geosciences. So I had the privilege of being awarded the Erasmus Mundus program where I had 2 years of my study in Europe. So I had 3 mobilities, but I spent 2 weeks in Germany for a business course. So what is our program? The Erasmus Mundus Master Course in Resource Engineering, or in other terms, it is referred as Georesources or majoring in geometallurgy. So our program, the field that I belong is quite very selective because we deal more on critical raw materials, strategic materials or materials where it would be necessary for green transition. So there's very few people who are into this field. So minerals and metals industry is something that most Filipinos or most people in general do not really appreciate and would take for granted. But these are things that matter. Okay. So this is how the circular economy works, and strategic and green metals. Green metals are necessary for green technology. And since we are much concerned right now with global warming, climate change, and stuff, that is where mineral resource development comes in. So up until now, we have still debates on decarbonization of our industries. That's why one of the biggest industries right now is the use of electric vehicles. So part of our program is really looking into alternative sources of these metals, which includes waste or WEEs or waste electronics materials. So core subjects in our program include the following. So we have these things. This is very engineering and mineral resource management courses. So that includes geometallurgy, geostatistics, mineral processing, sustainability and simulation, mineral processing simulation. So my master thesis was more on this one. So this is me during my final 3MT presentation where I discuss the, the results of my studies on ore impurities in downstream purification process of feldspar or leachate. This particular study focused on alternative sources for alumina and potash, which are necessary for ceramic application and fertilizer. So partly our program is also dealing with process mineralogy. So these are things wherein we are very much concerned with alternative sources because we are dealing again with critical raw materials. So this is us. So in our program, we were only two Filipinos. Around how many are we? Around 15 different nationalities. So we were 24, and yeah, we are only two Filipinos in our cohort. So we are very happy with the kind. I mean, this particular kind of what we call this group was really different in a sense that we were able to have a lot of understanding with one another. So that's one thing, especially if you're dealing with multinationality group. So yeah, we were privileged to visit a lot of mines. We were able to see how they are doing their mineral processing and mineral development. So it is one thing that as someone from the academe, it is necessary for me to look into these things and integrate whatever change or whatever processes or whatever practices they have in our students. Because in that way, we may be able to adapt to the fast changing society. So part of the thing, this is one of the many perks if you were able to travel or study in Europe, you get to travel a lot. So again, as what I've always say to my students or to other scholars, traveling is a personal choice. If it happened to me, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to travel as well. It depends on your pace, it depends on your interest, it depends on what you like. So life is just about the adventures you take and memories you make. So this is my personal take. So travel often and live life with open eyes and open hearts. But in my experience, it is something that, as I have mentioned in one of my interactions with my students, my experience is really, or the Erasmus journey that I have is something that I would forever cherish and one of my best decisions that I decided to take. So I think, yeah, I think that is the last slide. So any questions regarding the program or the journey, I would be grateful to ask to answer your questions. Thank you. Any questions? Yes po.
Hello po. I just want to ask, you mentioned that through Erasmus Mundus, you studied in a lot of different schools.
Yes.
Did you like have to apply to each one separately, or is that like a program that Erasmus Mundus have that you can like study in those different universities in one program, or?
Oh yeah, it's part of the program. It's a consortium of different universities. So in Erasmus, you have different consortium universities. Not necessarily all of those consortium universities you would be able to go. It depends on the specialization, which usually happens during your third or your last semester. In my case, we actually have four partner universities, the ones in Belgium, the one in France, the one in Germany, and in Sweden. I chose Sweden for my third semester because it was specializing in primary resources, whereas Germany is focusing on recycling or secondary resource. So I spent my last semester in my last two semesters rather in Sweden because I was focusing on primary resources. In other programs, they also have different consortium of universities. In my case, each universities that I was admitted, I earned different degrees. So I had four in total, including the main one is the resource engineering, but I had three other degree from those three universities that I was admitted to.
Thank you.
Thank you. So other questions? Yes.
So you mentioned now you get to choose Sweden as one of your countries or one of the programs because there's I think that's one of the programs. Are there actually programs within Erasmus Mundus na parang you can choose some countries or you can choose the countries that you're going to?
It depends on the structure of the of the program. In my case, we get to choose where we go after our after the second semester. So in the first two semesters, all of us were together for Belgium and for France. But then when the third semester came, we had to choose between Sweden and Germany because that would be going towards the specialization for our master thesis. I know like ECT, the Environmental Contamination and Toxicology program, they have four different consortium universities. And the scholars or the students enrolled in that particular program gets to choose where they would begin their semester. So they were never together as a program. So it depends on the program really. So in my case, that was the arrangement. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Other questions? I guess there's none. So okay.
When you do your master's thesis, is it to be done in the beginning of your study in the first year? Do the program you in the beginning of first year, or you will do it towards the end of your 2 years in Europe?
Interesting question, but yeah, we applied for the program that I mean the master thesis that we will be working with. So it was more of us sending letters of motivation or application to our different supervisors. So it happened on the third semester while we were still doing coursework. But the final semester was already intended for the experimental works for the master thesis. So other programs get to choose as well, like apply from companies. Like again, I'll just do the referencing for ECT or the Environmental Contamination and Toxicology program, wherein for their master thesis, they have to look for industries which has some what they call this studies that would be able to fund for their specific master thesis master thesis subjects. So it depends on the program that yeah, it depends on the structure of the program. Okay. I guess that would be all. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the fair.